Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the Family Guy family home from the show Family Guy. That's about 3 too many Family Guys for my liking, and that makes 4. So, thank you so much for all of you that recommended that I make this. The reason that I made this was because of all of the suggestions from the Johnny Test Family House video. So many of you guys suggested that I should make this, I couldn't ignore it. I've actually made the Family Guy home before, in the past. This is a remake. However, I think that this version is not only so much easier to make than the very first version that I made a really long time ago, but I think that it's actually a lot closer to the actual Family Guy house in general. So please do, if you enjoy this series, if you enjoy the cartoon houses, please continue to comment down below and let me know what I should make next. I am incredibly interested in what you guys want to see. I have seen a lot of Simpsons comments as well. Maybe that'll get remade in the future. You'll have to let me know. But you guys have seen the house now. There's nothing more to show you. Why don't I actually show you how to make this thing? Commence the tutorial. So, if you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some birchwood planks, some oakwood planks, some red hardened clay, some green hardened clay, some white stained glass paint, some wooden trapdoors, some quartz stairs, some stone slabs, some lime hardened clay. Also grab dark oak fence and some jungle leaves. Now those are the only materials that we should be needing. However, I am incredibly forgetful and we may in fact need a few more later on. Just a little disclaimer for you. So once you have each one of those materials and once you've figured out where you want to make it, and by the way, I can tell you that this house will fit into a 44 block, that's 44 blocks coming across the front, by a 35 block area. And this area includes the garden that you saw at the start of the video. So basically, everything that you saw at the start of the video will fit into the same rectangular shape that we have right here. And if you want, you can better plan out your build by creating the same rectangular shape in your world. If you do that, you want to start on the very front left-hand corner of your rectangular shape, and you want to count in to the right by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then you want to count inwards, going towards the back by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is where we will begin the build, and from this block we want to create a row of 9 birchwood planks going right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On top of this 9th block, do a row of 3 hardened clay coming up. 1, 2, 3. Go right by 2, 1, 2. Go down by 2, 1, 2. Connect down to the ground using birchwood planks, and then go to the right of those planks by 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go up on top of this 8th block by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take a sideways look at what you've just made. You want to take this 6th block and you want to do 4 upright diagonals going towards the back of the house. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do an upright diagonal using your oakwood planks. Then take out your birch again and do 6 more upright diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then take this 6th upright diagonal and do 5 bottom right diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then do a bottom right diagonal using your oakwood planks. Then do 5 more bottom right diagonals using your birchwood planks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connect that down to the ground using your birchwood planks. Then extend the plank that hit the ground across the back of the house until it is in line with where you began at the front of the house, and then proceed to connect it to the front of the house like this. You can also connect the right hand side of the house together as well in a similar fashion, just in case you want to kind of like form a solid shape like I have. Now, once you've done that, the next step of this is going to be for us to come to the front left-hand corner of the house, which is this, and we want to take this front left-hand corner, and we want to create the same shape that we have over there, over here. So we want to take this corner block, and we want to go up on top of it by 6 with the birch wood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we want to do 4 upper left diagonals. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do an up left diagonal with your oak wood plank. Then do 5 upper left diagonals with the birch. Actually, make that 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then do 5 bottom left diagonals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then do a bottom left diagonal with your oak wood planks. Then do 5 more bottom left diagonals with your birch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then extend down to connect to the base of the house. So, what you want to end up with should look a lot like this. And as long as you have what you have on the opposite side, you should be fine. And the fact that we have connected down to the framework is also an extremely good indicator as well. Now, once you've got that taken care of, it's now going to be time for us to add some details to the house. So, make your way to the front of the house. Where we have the entrance of the house is where we will begin our detail. First of all, I'm going to connect the bottom of the base of the entrance together using birchwood planks, just because that was bothering me a little bit. Now, I'm going to fill the very first row of the front of the house in using birchwood planks. So I'm going to add a layer of birchwood planks on top of that bottom row of birch to give us 2 rows. Then, starting from the left-hand side here, on top of this next row, I'm going to place a birchwood plank going right, then an oak wood, 2 glass, 1 oak wood, 2 birch, and then I'm going to move through the entrance and place 2 birch, 1 oak, 2 glass, 1 oak, 1 birch. Every single block I've placed in that row, I then want to add another layer on top of. So wherever I added birch, I want to add birch, oak, oak, and glass, glass. You guys get the idea, so we want to double up on all of those rows. Then, make every single other row on the front of the house birch wood. So you want to essentially add 3 birch wood rows. Just keep going until you eventually reach like the top of the front of the house. You guys will know when you've hit it because of course you'll have ran out of like birch wood planks to connect together like this. Also, feel free to add wooden trapdoors in front of the windows. Wherever you have the oak wood plank blocks, especially next to glass, that typically signifies that you should place a trapdoor in front of them. It adds a slight bit of detail. The next thing you might want to do is also add a little bit of a walkway just underneath the entrance. So if you add a solid row of stone slab just underneath the entrance, so like 2 stone slab rows, and then do like a row that kind of like tapers down so you can like actually walk a bit, then you'll have something which looks a little bit nicer. We can actually walk up into the house now. Now, once you've got that sorted out, we're going to add a couple more details around the house. So come to the left-hand side of the house now. Begin by starting on the left-hand side of the house. You want to be in this bottom front right-hand corner here, where you have this empty space, and you want to do a row of 7 birchwood planks moving to the left. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then place 2 red hardened clay going left, 1, 2. Add 2 rows on top, 1, 2. Add 2 rows of birchwood planks to the right of these, so 1, 2. Then we want to add a row of oak wood planks to the right, then 2 rows of glass, 1, 2, then a row of oak wood planks, finish off with a row of birch. And of course, add some wooden trapdoors in front of the oak wood plank blocks, as you guys will probably be doing a lot throughout the tutorial. Now, take the oak wood plank block that is built into the roof at the front, and underneath this oak wood plank, add an additional plank. Do 2 rows of white glass going left, 1, and that will be 2. Add a row of oak wood planks going left of that. Add wooden trap doors in front of the oak wood planks, like this. Then do 5 rows of birchwood planks going left of the oak wood planks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And add an additional row on top of that. Add a row of oak wood planks left of the birch. Then 2 rows of glass. 1 and then 2. And then double up on the oak wood plank built into the roof to form this shape. You then want to add wooden trapdoors in front of the oak wood planks like this, and that is pretty much what you want to have on this particular side at the moment. Let's work our way to the opposite side so we can add a couple more details. So, on the opposite side, we want to take the oak wood plank that is closest to the front of the house. Add another oak wood plank underneath it. Then, underneath that oak wood plank, do a row of 6 birchwood planks coming down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then do 2 oak wood planks. 1 and 2. Do 2 rows of glass coming towards the front of the house. 1, and that will be 2. Like that. Then do a row of oak wood planks. Then place wooden trapdoors in front of the oak wood, like this, and that would be perfect. Come all the way back up to the top 2 original oak wood plank blocks, and do 2 rows of glass to the right. 1 row, and then 2 rows. Do a row of oak wood planks, and place wooden trapdoors in front of the oak wood. So we want to have something which should look a little bit like this. We don't want to add a back window on this particular side of the house here, because it's going to be covered up anyway. As a matter of fact, you can, if you like, replace that oak wood plank block with a birchwood plank block, like that. Now, once you've got that sorted out, we're going to move to the back of the house this time. So we're going to come to the very back of the house, and it's time to add some details. So first of all, we're going to lay a layer of birchwood plank blocks down at the back base of the house, like that. A row of birchwood planks straight down. We then want to, on top of this row of birchwood, starting from the left, we want to do this, going right. Do a birchwood plank block, oak wood plank, 2 glass, oak wood. 1 birch, 1 oak, 3 glass, 1 oak, 1 birch, 1 oak, 2 glass, 1 oak, 1 birch. Add another layer of the materials that we've just used on top of each other. So where you use birch, where you use oak, use oak. And of course, where you use glass. So we want to add all of this on top, like this. Then add a layer of wooden trapdoors. I'm absolutely destroying everything. Add a layer of wooden trapdoors in the front of the oak wood plank blocks, as we have done quite a few times before. So just make all of these shutters for your oak wood plank blocks, and then we can continue on to the next bit. Like that. There we go. Now, on top of the windows, we want to add 3 layers of birchwood planks. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, and that will take us up to the top back part of the house. However, that won't mean that we're done, because we do have a little bit more to add. So once we have added these 3 rows of birchwood planks, like this, we now want to, on top of this top row of birchwood, we want to start from the left, move our way inwards by 1 here, and we want to place a birchwood plank. Right of that, an oak wood plank. 2 glass, oak wood plank, 7 birch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oak, 2 glass, 1 oak, 1 birch. Every single block that we just placed, we want to add 2 more on top. So once again, 2 rows of oak, 2 rows of birch, 2 rows of glass across the board. It all wants to be added. Preferably, you do it a little bit better than me, because for some reason I simply cannot place glass. It doesn't happen. And then I'm just going to place the birchwood planks. And on the opposite side here, I'll also place more. And in between as well. Cool. Now, I'm going to add a layer of birchwood planks on top of what I've made. So, completely on top of what I've made, spanning from left to right on top of the windows, like this. And I'm going to use wooden trapdoors in front of these windows to create shutters as well, because even upper floor, second floor windows need some love. So we're just going to add these shutters here. And then, now that that's done, we want to take this top row of birchwood planks and we want to add, and this is a bit tricky, we want to do 4 inward diagonals using your birchwood planks coming towards the top center of the house. It'll look like this, right? It'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what you do. You do 4, yeah? Then you take the 4th diagonal, you extend it to where the roof connects, so until it connects to the roof like that, and then come to the opposite side and do the same thing. So if we come to the opposite side here and we do the same thing, we take the other end and we do 4 inward diagonals, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we extend it inwards until it connects to the roof. And that is what we want to have. Later on, very, very soon actually, I'll show you how to do the roof and I'll show you how that connects. You know what, that's probably the next thing that we'll do. So once you've got the back of the house taken care of, you've actually completed quite a few details of the house. We're going to come to the front of the house. Take out your green hardened clay. That's what the roof's made out of. Place a row of green hardened clay in front of the top of the house, going from left to right like this. The roof will sit on the outside of the triangular shape that we began the house by building. So we want to have a layer of green clay that sits on the outside of the triangular shape like this. It actually wants to come all the way down and it wants to sit in front of the back of the house and it wants to connect underneath the windows. You actually want to run a row of green clay underneath the windows like this. And then it's going to climb up this side, it's going to climb all the way up to the top like this, and then all the way down the exact same way that we did it on the opposite side like that. So we want to have something which should look like this. Perfect. It's also worth mentioning that the roof overhangs the very left-hand side of the house and the very right-hand side of the house by 1 row. So, like I said, the left-hand side of the house overhangs by 1 row, and the right-hand side of the house overhangs the house by 1 row. So like that. And then the opposite side here, we want to also overhang this. Like I said, wants to overhang the side of the house by 1 row, like that. And it's very, very tedious, but it does look nice. It's kind of what we need to do. And once we've done that, you can see how the roof is kind of going to pan out from here. Like, you can see how it really does add a lot to the house. It really does. It does make a massive difference here. So, once you've got that sorted out, we now want to move to the back of the house, because on the back of the house here, we want to do this. So, you know where we have these upper windows? Do a row of green clay in front of the upper set of windows. Like this, do a row of green clay. The roof also wants to, or the green clay wants to kind of like sit on top of this back row, on top of this top row of birchwood planks like this. It also wants to overhang the little overhang by 1 row. This bit's kind of difficult to explain, but you can kind of see how this is being built up, yeah? Like, it's just exactly how we did with the main roof, except it's on a slightly smaller scale, and it's a slightly different shape. So it's basically the same idea, the same concept, except it's a nice little overhang like that, and you can see how the roof is actually going to piece together. Speaking of piecing things together, the next thing that we're going to do is, and I'm not going to do this on recording, just to let you guys know. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to connect the left-hand side of the roof to the right-hand side of the roof. That applies to the big main part of the roof and the little part of the roof as well. So we'll connect the left-hand side of the roof to the right-hand side of the roof. That's the front. You can see that that's how that's going to go. This is the back. We just drag it over. There's absolutely nothing to it. That's how we connect the roof together. I'm sure you didn't have to be told that. We are also going to fill in the sides of the house using birchwood planks. So, wherever you see gaps and holes in your house, fill them in using birchwood planks. Like, there's a lot on this left-hand side, and there's a lot on the right, and there's none on the front or the back. I'm going to do both of these things off recording because it's going to take a while, but then I'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like. So, back in a moment, I'm going to fill in the roofs and I'm going to fill in the walls. Alright guys, so as you might be able to see, I have now filled in the sides of the house, including the roof as well. Something to point out is, not only do you have to fill in the big sides of the house, but if you also fill in like the little overhang that we have here, the additional rooms on the back of the house, you also have to fill those in with birch wood planks. Now, I realise that that might take you a little while, so if you need to, pause this video, complete that, and once you've done that, hit play and you can synchronize with the rest of us. But once you have done that, this is the next step. Make your way once again to the front of the house. You want to find the first row of the roof and come to the left. Then, from the first row of the roof, move up and find the fourth row of the roof. So this is the first, second, third, fourth. You will then want to move into the right and find the fourth block in. So this is the first, second, third, fourth. On top of this fourth block, place a row of 2 birch wood planks. 1, 2. Then place 2 glass to the right of the planks. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hang on. Oh, this is so tricky. With the pain. Hang on. And then just one more. There we go. Then place a row of birchwood planks to the right of that. Then place birchwood planks on top of the glass. Destroy the green clay behind the glass, because otherwise it will grip weirdly. We then want to place a layer of green hardened clay on the sides, left, and the top of the birchwood planks, in this fashion. A mini roof. Connect that mini roof to the back of the house. Like this. Just connect the green roof to the green, and that is what you want to have on the left hand side of the house. Coincidentally, we also want the same thing on the right. So if you come all the way over to the right, on the same row, and you start on the end and you find the fourth block in again, that's first, second, third, fourth, and place a row of 2 birchwood planks coming up, 1, 2, then 2 rows of glass coming left, 1 row, and then, oh my god, 1, 2, then 2 rows, then birchwood planks to the left of that, and on top of the glass. Destroy the green behind, once again it grips weirdly. Then create a nice little mini roof for the window that you have created. And then connect the mini roof to the actual house itself, as you can see me doing here. And on top here. And back here. So we want to have something which should look exactly like that. That's on the front of the house. We also have to add a chimney. So if you take out your red hardened clay, and this is a simple way to do it. If you take the red hardened clay and you come to the right hand window that you've just made, so this is a right hand window. If you take the left hand side of the top, where we have these 2 blocks, you take the left hand block, follow it up to the top of the house, and place a red stained clay here in this position on the top of the house. Also one to the left of it, also on top of itself. Then add another row. So in total, you want to have 3 rows of red clay. Add an additional layer directly behind it where you can, and there you have a nice little chimney in that position, in the proper position on top of the roof. There you go. Now, I know what you might be thinking to yourself, oh my god, have we finished yet? We're not too far off. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do the garage. So come to the very back of the house, the very back left-hand corner. So right here, on the left of the house, back bottom left-hand corner, it's right here. Extend this block outwards, out the side of the house by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go up on top of this 10th block by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then do 2 upright diagonals coming towards the front of the house. 1, 2. Go to the right of that by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do 2 bottom right diagonals. 1, 2. And then connect down to the base here. Then, if you like, you can take that birchwood plank and connect it to the back of the house. However, you don't want to take the same birchwood plank and connect it to the front of the house, because we want to take this upper birchwood plank here that we just connected down, and we want to connect this to the side of the house. So connect that block to the side of the house. Then connect the block that touches the house downwards, like this. And also add a row of birchwood planks underneath it. So we want to have a shape which should look like this. This is the garage. What we're now going to do is we're going to fill the inside row of the garage. So one row inside of this empty space, just one row backwards. You guys can see where this is going to go. You want to add rows and rows and rows and rows of quartz stairs. I bet you were wondering where these were going to come in. You want to form a garage door using the quartz stairs in that fashion. The garage also has an entrance on the side. The entrance is directly to the left of the garage door, right here, and it consists of 2 rows of free red hardened clay coming up from these first 2 empty birchwood plank blocks. It's 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, moving down. The side of the garage can be filled in using birchwood planks. It might take you a little while, however, these things, well, it does take a while. What else can I tell you? So we're going to fill the side of this thing in with birchwood planks. We are also going to give it a roof, and as a little side note, the entranceway here on the side of the house, you might find that you want to give it a little bit of a walk up. So using the stone slabs in the same fashion as we did the front of the house, you might want to give it a step up. The same thing goes for the entrance that we have on the side of the house, like this. If you want, this can be a functional entrance, or like a functional entrance like that, or you can just leave it and just have it as kind of like a faux entrance. Once you have filled in the birchwood planks, I'm now going to add a layer of green hardened clay in front of the top of the garage, like this, and it's going to come all the way up the side of the garage. It's going to come upwards diagonally like so. It's going to come down the back of the garage like this, and it's going to connect to the house. You should find that in certain circumstances, in certain instances, the garage roof connects to the house roof. That is intentional, and it is supposed to go that way. So don't worry, you've not done anything wrong if the garage roof doesn't look right for some reason. As a matter of fact, if it doesn't connect to the actual roof of the house, you're done goofed somewhere. Don't worry about that. It happens to everybody, especially me. It really does. But yeah, this is the roof. And an important fact also to consider once you've filled in the roof, which we almost have. Almost. Oh, we've still got the top to do. An important fact is that you also want the roof to overhang the side of the garage by 1 row. So if we come to the very left-hand side here, we're going to make it overhang by 1 row, as you can see me doing here. Bloop. And boom, boom, boom. Oh, also, I'll fill in the back of the garage using birchwood planks because we don't really want to leave the house open, do we? I mean, the garage door's shut. Why leave a gaping hole in the back of the garage door? We don't want any intruders, so we just want to fill that in, and that will be the garage. Nice and simple. There is only one more large component to this house, so come all the way to the back opposite corner of the house, the very back bottom right hand corner. Take the very back bottom right hand corner, which is here, and extend it out of the side of the house by 10 using the birchwood planks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you want to take this 10th block and you want to go up on top of this 10th block by 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You then want to take this 10th block and you want to do 3 up left diagonals coming towards the front of the house. That's 1, 2, 3. Then go left by 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then do 3 bottom left diagonals. 1, 2, and then 3. And connect down to the base of the house. You can then connect that block that touches the floor to the actual front of the house or to the side of the house, and you can connect the front of this little room to the back of the room like so. Perfect. Now, we're going to come to the front portion of the house. Oh, and by the way, you can connect the birchwood planks as well, like the corner birchwood planks, like at the top. if that makes sense. Like, the blocks that you connected down to the ground, you can also connect those to the actual wall of the house like this. If we start here on the left-hand side, on top of this bottom row of birchwood planks, at the top of this little building here, we want to place a birchwood, then 2 glass going right, birchwood, 2 red hardened clay, birchwood, 2 glass. Raise up every single one of those blocks by 3. So we want to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we want to add on a layer of glass, or we want to add on these same rows using our glass, is what I should say. However, I should stick to blocks. I really should. Glass paint is not my forte. And then I'm just going to fill the upper part of this in using birchwood planks. And this is also an entrance, although not a functional one. I'm still going to add like a nice little step up using these stone slabs like that. Just a little bit different than all of the others. Now, I'm going to come to the back of what we've just made. I'm going to connect the back of this to the side of the house. I'm going to use the birchwood planks to connect to the back of the house. Then I'm going to add, starting from the very bottom left-hand corner, in this row, on top of the birchwood plank row, I'm going to place 2 glass going right, birchwood plank, 2 glass, birchwood plank, 2 glass, birchwood plank. I'm going to raise up each one of those birchwood planks until they come all the way up to the very tippity top of what we've just made. And then I'm going to add 3 rows of glass on top of that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and same for every single one of them. I'm going to fill in just above the windows using birchwood planks like this. And I'm going to fill the very side of this particular part of the building. And I will confess to you, I don't know what this is, by the way. I don't know what this particular part of the house is. I don't know if anybody can clue me in on it. I'm sure that I could simply Google it and like find a floor plan or whatever. But I don't actually know what this sticky out part of the house is at all. I wonder if any of you guys know. Let me know down there in the comments if you do know that. But there we go. I'm going to fill that in. And then we're going to make the roof for this. The roof for this is very, very simple. Same concept as the garage. We want to have the green hardened clay on the side of the shape that we're kind of like formed here. The green hardened clay, the roof wants to come all the way down and sit in front of the top of this part of the house. So it wants to sit in front of the top of this part of the house. It also wants to overhang itself by 1 row like this, and I'm also going to connect the left green to the right green. I'm connecting the both halves of the roofs together like this, and once this has been complete, does that even grammatically make sense? I don't know, I don't care, but once this has been completed, that's better, we then can just add in some very minor, very minor finishing details to the house. So I'm just going to fill in this roof, and like the structure, like if you take a look at the house from this point onwards, it's actually kind of done. Like that, the house is there. You can see the Family Guy house. It's clear as anything, but it is lacking a little something, which is what we're going to be adding. So let me just fill in this roof, and then we can talk about that. It's such a tedious process, but that is what you want to end up with. That is that little part of the roof done, and that's that little part of the house done. Now, this is the structure of the house complete, as I've mentioned one time already. The only things that we have to do now are purely cosmetic and just like give a nicer feel. So, I'm going to add a pathway from the front of the house towards, I don't know, the street that you'll be putting it on or wherever. So I'm going to take these 3 stone slab blocks and I'm going to extend them in front of the house until they sit on the outer part of my guide. And I just want them to come about this far out and digging into the ground, and this is going to be filled in with stone slabs. This is a simple pathway leading outwards from the house or to the house. I also want there to be a pathway from the garage, so each one of the quartz stairs I want to dig into the ground, and I want to extend these forwards, until these connect once again to kind of like the guidelines of the plan. This, I'm not going to do this on this one because this takes a really long time, but this kind of like empty stone slab rectangle that I'm kind of constructing on the ground will later be dug out and filled in with stone slabs. So I'm just going to dig that out, fill that in with stone slabs. A little bit later on, I'm not going to do this now. So I'm going to do that. That'll be the driveway. There's a mailbox, like a box, whatever you want to call it. It's made using dark oak fence, red hardened clay, wooden trapdoors. Directly to the left of the end of the path, place a fence with a red hardened clay on top with a wooden trapdoor in front of that. Letterbox, mailbox, perfect. Now, I'm going to grab jungle leaves, or whatever your favourite kind of leaves are, and I'm going to do a border of jungle leaves going just about around the entirety of the house. Obviously, you don't want to cover things up, so be careful not to like cover up any footpaths or in front of the garage, for instance, or wherever else you may find that you'll be wanting to walk around the house. However, for the most part, you want to have a complete row of jungle leaves continuously going around the house, just about continuously, you guys get the idea. This will add a little bit of detail, it will cover up a little bit of blackness at the base of the house, it will look nicer. Now, that is what it looks like all uniform and boring. If you want to make it look nicer, then I would highly suggest like buffering out some of the hedge, so like, I don't know, adding some extra blocks in places, adding some blocks riding up the side of the house, making it a little bit thicker, and so you guys get the idea. So if you want to make the hedge look a little bit nicer, it'll add some character to the house, it'll look great. The last thing that you will also want to do, or I would suggest, you don't have to do this because this is completely up to you as well. Artificial grass. Wherever you have real grass in the house, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like regular Minecraft grass very much, unless I'm gonna, like, bone meal it. I'm gonna knock out every single block of grass around the house, unless it serves some sort of purpose, which none of them do, I don't think. Not with this particular house. There's no real, like, no real plant life that needs to exist on grass. And I'm gonna fill in this pattern. I'm gonna do one row of dark green clay, 2 lime, 1 dark, 2 lime, 1 dark, 2 lime, coming all the way throughout the house. So wherever I delete grass, I'm going to create this pattern of clay, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to create this pattern of clay, and it's going to follow through from the front of the house to the back of the house. It'll look like that. It'll look exactly how the house did at the start of the video, and I'm going to basically do that now, and I'll show you how it looks. I'm going to build up the hedge, I'm going to fill in the garage driveway, I'm going to create some artificial grass, and then I'm going to be back because that will be the house 100% fully complete. I suggest you do some of those things, whichever it is you want to do. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Family Guy family home. We have added the driveway, we have the pathway coming out the front of the house, we have the letterbox, the mailbox, whatever. We have the artificial grass. There's nothing that needs adding around the house, unless, of course, I was to spruce up the hedge that goes around the house, but you know, it's not really that important. As long as it looks really, really nice around the front, that's the main thing. And well, I guess that there's nothing else to tell you guys. I mean, that's the house. Those are all the steps that you need to follow to reach this point right here. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed the video. Hopefully, you guys have managed to make the house. If you have, please do remember to smack that like button. It really helps me out no end. It honestly does. I'd really appreciate it if you could smack that like. It really does help me out. Please, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. If you subscribe, click the little bell next to the subscription button. and that will ensure that you get all of my videos sent directly to your sub box. I'm subscribed to loads of people. If I don't click the little bell on certain channels, I know that I don't get every single one of them sent to my sub box, which is a real shame because, I mean, I've been making some good stuff lately. I'm just saying, guys. Also, if you do subscribe, say hello. If you're a brand new subscriber, say hello. I'd like to say hello back to you guys. Also, by the way, speaking of commenting, if you do have any more ideas for cartoon-related houses, do post them down below. I need to know what you guys want to see. I'm thinking Simpson House next, unless I find something in between. But I'm thinking Simpsons. By the way, also, if you do subscribe, if you enjoy the content, consider checking out the channel. I do all sorts of stuff. Just taking a nice brief look around my world right now, you can see that I kind of do loads of things. Not only do we do more cartoon-related builds, such as the American Dad house, such as Johnny Test's house, and various others, but we also do, like, regular houses. This is a modern house that I've made pretty recently. That's a nice modern house. We have suburban houses, more modern houses. We have survival-style builds. We have real-life builds. We have medieval builds. We have this, that, the other. This just a nice little quick look around the world. Hopefully that gets you a little bit enticed. Check out the card system, check out the description below for all of that fun stuff. I don't really have anything left to say, guys. Please do, if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe.